So in this 4-day division of training, today's the leg day. It's all legs. Unfortunately here, leg days suck. At least I think so. Why? Because it's not a glory day. I don't get to get a nice leg pumping, strut through the mall or strut through the grocery store. I instead shuffle my feet. But it's still a necessity. Why? Because your legs are a treasure trove of hormone. When you really beat those legs up and begin to grow those legs, that treasure trove of hormone goes everywhere. So your overall growth is going to be that much better. Fellas, specifically you guys, do understand that a pyramid is never devised upside down, which means if the base is not wide, the top will not grow. I'll say that again. If the base is too narrow, the top half won't grow. So if you want to get bigger, stronger, you've got to grow those legs. The wider the base, to the heavens you can grow. Let's get into this leg day, you guys. The major portions of your leg are actually the front of your thigh and the back of your thigh. That's your quadriceps and your hamstrings. Yes, calves do matter, but they're not major muscles to your leg overall shape. Glutes do matter, but they're not major muscles in the overall shape of your lower half. So we're going to definitely attack those quadriceps in different ranges. We're going to definitely attack those hamstrings. I'm going to open up with the hamstring curl. Why? Because the hamstring curl will really prepare the overall knee to be hinged on throughout the workout. So using a hamstring curl machine initially is a great way to make sure you protect that knee by opening up with set 1 and progressing towards set 4. Bicep femoris, all right? That's another word for hamstring. Your thigh or your femur has a bicep, much like your humerus, your actual upper arm, as a bicep. When you really attack those hamstrings, they begin to curve and grow with intention. It makes the overall leg just look powerful and intentional. Much like growing your biceps makes your arm look powerful and intentional. So let's really get to it, guys. Hamstrings, bicep femoris, underway. So you're gonna find in pretty much every gym variations. I'm using the seated or upright hamstring curl. Your gym may have a prone hamstring curl, which means you're laying on your stomach as you do the curl. Some gyms have a standing curl, whereby you're standing upright as you curl that leg upward. Whatever it is, make sure you're still attacking those hamstrings. Very important. I want to progress to another weight for this second set. Whew. Staying in line with the fundamental basics that we should all understand and know is why I'm going to go into the actual leg press machine. I know the squat is an excellent way. Trust me, I have definitely done a lot of squats in my day. But when you're trying to really get the basis of your growth going, using something like a squat can be too technical earlier on, and it's also too technical to prevent injury. I am 6'3", which means I have much longer legs. A squat isn't always that comfortable. And when I was first starting to train, I didn't know what the heck was going on. Not to mention, I was a much smaller person. So holding that bar across my back, it was just super uncomfortable. To be real with you, I was just not happy using the squat bar. But with the leg press machine, I can definitely get those same compound motion going. So let's hop in here. I do want to point this out to you though. A lot of your gyms will have an adjustment here. This upward position here is just too high in my experience. So let your seat come into more of a relaxed position there, okay? Reason being is when you're sitting upright too much, you can put way too much pressure in your lower back area, causing some serious issues, okay? So make sure you recline back good so as you can disseminate that pressure across your lower back, all right? Let's get it going. So my foot positioning is typically a little bit higher than usual because when it's too low, it hinges on my knee way too much. So I cheat upward some and I take more of a square shoulder position, but a tad bit wider than that. I'm not trying to hold a square forward position, but a slight naturally outward position is gonna feel comfortable to me, okay? Let's go for it. So you're going to find on a lot of your leg press machines, a lot of your leg machines in general, the plate loaded ones especially, you move in increments of 45s and 25s because the legs are capable of holding some pretty serious weight. So don't be scared to move upward 25, 40-pound jumps as you're training and progressing forward through your workout. 10-pound increments, the legs typically don't even notice something like that. So let's really load those legs by moving upward in weight. Okay, so my knees are relatively fresh. Why? Because I was doing an actual leg press machine. If I was using this squat, my knees would probably not be too happy. So I'm definitely good to go with this leg extension machine. One step further than that is my quadriceps are pretty fresh. Why? Because the leg press machine is not a very quad dominant exercise, unlike a squat. A squat is very quad dominant on pretty much 75% of the forms you would use in a squat. With that being said, you guys, the tip I just gave you was don't rely upon squats to grow your posterior. It's going to allow you to be extremely quad dominant, and that's going to really upset your physique. If your quads overpower your leg in comparison to the back of your leg, it's going to make the back of your leg look that much smaller. So do not become a quad dominant, a quad heavy person. All right, guys, back to the workout. Leg extensions. These are not bad for your knee if you're choosing the proper weight. Proper weight means not super heavy. Super heavy means you're going to be hinging on your knee too much. So let's choose a moderate weight that lets me come up and squeeze at the top of the motion. All right, so as I progress a little bit heavier in weight here, understand that there's one more trick you can utilize when you're doing this exercise. I'm gonna actually drop the weight to demonstrate for you. When you're coming up, your toes can be in a neutral position where they naturally stand or naturally fall. What you can also do is just ever so slightly turn your toes outward some. It will shift the emphasis in your quadricep. You can also keep them in a neutral position, but point your toes. That's going to cause more of a burn in a different position of your quads as well, a little bit higher in that thigh. If you pull your toes back towards yourself throughout that motion, it's going to attack the lower area of your thighs a little bit more than the rest of your quadricep. That being said, as you progress throughout your workout, you can play with your toe positioning to shift the emphasis throughout the quadricep, but the whole quad is still being trained. Let's get these last sets going. So we're going to conclude this leg workout with calves. But let me first address something. There's a lot of trolling happening amongst African Americans or towards African Americans and their physiques when it comes to their calf development. Our calf development is just as well as anyone else, but the difference is of an anthropological sort. I'll explain to you what I mean. Our calf attachment is typically higher on our leg. It's not as low as our Caucasian counterparts are. So the calf is not undersized, it just has a higher attachment to it. It pops a bit more, so the aesthetics of it look different, but the reasoning so is, well, there's larger reasons for that, but one of the advantages to the higher attaching calf is rapid acceleration, which helps out with a lot of the North American sports. Also, the leaping ability, because the higher attaching calf kind of helps us to leave the ground much faster, which helps us to accelerate into a higher position. So, you guys, we're going to all train our calves. The overall appearance will be different, but no matter who you are, white, black, Caucasian, Asian, training your calves is very important. So let's get into this standing calf raise to conclude this workout. I'm going to go for about 4 sets of 15 to 20. I like to train calves in a higher range, 15 to 20 versus 12 to 15. Another side note, when you're elevated doing calf raises, be sure not to get too low in your action. You can get more range of motion, but when you get to a terminal point, you shift emphasis heavily towards your Achilles, which is going to stage some pretty gnarly tears that you don't want to go through. So it's okay to come down some to break that false plane, but don't get too far overstretching or over tightening, or I should say overstretching, the Achilles tendon. Second set. Leg day was a success. We're gonna move into our next day on our 4-day split. A recap of what happened today. We did leg curl because leg curls really help to warm up the connective tissue and tendons in that knee before I really start moving with it. Also, great development of hamstrings, just sets your whole leg off. Went into a leg press by way of the leg press machine. I prefer that one for you guys really trying to get your foundation in place because it's easier or less technical than an actual squat. Also, it can prevent you from becoming very quad dominant, as it can sometimes happen when you're doing a bunch of squats. Thirdly, go into a leg extension for your quadriceps, which matters a ton because the front quad is what presents itself to the world every day. If you're wearing shorts, a bathing suit, whatever it is. Also, calves. And I gave you guys a brief lesson as to why calves are actually the same for everyone. It's just that your African Americans have a higher attaching calf, or African descent have a higher attaching calf. It's the same as our Caucasian counterparts. We're all the same physique-wise. Slight presentation differences though. You guys, this is an awesome leg workout. I'm out of here. Peace.